Hey, Doc Steve here, and I want to tell you that I've been a little confused recently with all the rhetoric that's coming out of the White House about fighting violent crime. And there's a very good reason for that because, as the old adage says, actions speak louder than words. And most of us remember January 6th, 4 years ago, when a whole bunch of people overran the Capitol, some of them violent, and some of them actually beating up police with fire extinguishers, baseball bats, metal flagpoles. And we also remember January 20th of this year when those same people were pardoned by this administration. So actions and words don't really correlate there. But I'm happy to announce that it's finally been clarified what really counts as violent crime for this administration, because a few weeks ago, somebody committed a crime so bad that everybody at the top levels of our government condemned it, including Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, Jeanine Pirro, even our president himself. And to paraphrase what they said about it, they said, "If you do this kind of thing, we're coming to get you." So this happened because a man a few weeks ago threw a sandwich at an ICE officer. And I have to tell you, when I first heard about this, I was shocked to the core that anyone would do anything so nasty. Because as you know, if you watch my videos, I'm an ER doc. I see trauma all the time. I know what trauma is. And I don't even want to think about, much less talk about, what a bologna sandwich can do to a person's face. And it's not just the trauma. If there's any mayonnaise or salad dressing or, heaven forbid, honey on it, it's just icky. Oh, have you ever gotten that stuff in your hair? I have. It's awful. And we haven't even talked about grilled cheese. Now, grilled cheese has what we in the ER business call associated thermal injury. In other words, burns. And if you've ever burned the roof of your mouth on a piece of pizza, you know what I'm talking about with that. Oh, ow, 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 ow. So I'm glad it's finally been clarified what really counts, and I'm really glad they caught the guy. And I heard they actually had to send like 20 agents to his house to arrest him. And it's a good thing they did, because I heard that he was actually stockpiling many pounds of high-impact cold cuts, including pepper jack cheese, hickory smoked ham, buffalo chicken. Yes, you heard me right, buffalo chicken. So obviously he was planning to do more of this. In fact, they actually caught him in the act of making a buffalo chicken and cheese sandwich. Although I have to say, to give him the benefit of the doubt, there were a few bites taken out of it. Maybe it was just lunch, but who knows? So in view of this, I have some advice for you folks out there. If you want to protest, hey, this is the US of A. It's what we're all about. Go for it. Freedom of speech and all that. But to be honest, I am not a fan of any kind of violence. For me, beating up somebody with a baseball bat should really count. So I'm not a fan of violence at all. But if you're planning on getting violent at your protests, especially if you're going to beat up on police, let me give you some really good advice. Stick with metal flagpoles, fire extinguishers, baseball bats. What about a good old fist to the jaw? What can be more American than that? Stick to that stuff, but do not throw a sandwich at somebody, because if you do, they're going to throw the book at you, and you're not going to get a pardon from this administration. So obviously a tongue-in-cheeky kind of way of pointing out an obvious discrepancy between words and action when it comes to violent crime on the part of this administration. But hey, especially being an ER doc, I couldn't ignore the ironic humor in this situation. But somebody's going to say, well, our president obviously cares about violent crime and doing something about it because he sent National Guard troops into Washington and he's trying to send them to other cities. Well, I have to say that I didn't have to do any fact checking for this video. Everybody knows about January 6th and January 20th. But with a little closer look and some fact checking, I am not at all convinced that this policy of sending National Guard troops into cities is about anything having to do with violent crime. But to see my thinking on that, check out the next couple of videos. Thanks for watching.